Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Webinar Wednesday. It's wonderful to welcome you back again. Nice to see some familiar faces, and I think there's a couple of new ones as well. We've got 50 people registered for tonight. I'm sure they'll show up when they're ready. You can't escape that last minute meeting with the big boss. So, super interesting topic for me tonight on intentions versus goals. And it's interesting for me because I hear a lot about intention in, especially more so in spiritual work, I guess, in some books I've read over the years, and with in relation to meditation practices and things like that. And I can say that in all of the people that I've asked along my journey, I never quite felt satisfied with the definition or description of how an intention is different to a goal. I remember, for example, being in South Africa where I learned to walk on fire and smash wood and bricks and do all of these kind of coaching metaphors, activities that we do in some of our workshops. And I remember asking very specifically, like, what's the difference? Now, it might have been a good answer, but it didn't quite register. It didn't kind of make sense to me at the time. And it wasn't until quite recently when I was doing some work on my own little app that I've developed. I'll talk about that a little bit later, called NeuroShift. It's basically a habit tracking app where you can track your daily actions that you're going to take to help you, with repetition, you build up a new habit. And in that process, I thought, it might be nice to offer like a daily intention. So then I did quite a bit of research and I found some definitions of intention that really resonated with me. And even when I'm using my own little app for myself, it it really, really works. And this little intention part, setting my daily intention, has become something that I've really, really looked forward to. So today's webinar is about expanding on that, getting clear on these definitions between setting goals and setting intentions, and how you can actually utilize both of them together in order to achieve more. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. I'll be sharing some slides as always. Feel free to take screenshots. The session is recorded, so it'll be uploaded to our YouTube channel later this evening. And let's have a little dance. No, music is gone. Awesome. So here are some of the organizations that I work with all around the world. Now, while I haven't taught many people about intentions, certainly goal setting is a prime part of the work that I do, both as a master certified coach in my, regular coaching sessions that I'm having. Obviously, I'm sharing goals and helping people to set their goals. And when working with organizations, I'm always helping teams and the leaders within the organizations to set their goals as well. So let me take a look at what we're going to see today. Fantastic. So let's start with some clear definitions first. I think most of us know what goals are. So again, just to ensure that we don't get confused or misinterpret, a goal is a specific outcome or result that you're aiming to achieve. Many times these goals are set in the future. It's last I checked, it's pretty hard to achieve a goal in the past. Um, Often a goal is something measurable and something that you want to achieve in the future. And I guess you can say it's also outside of you, even though there are some kind of internal goals that we set, like, happiness and other internal goals. Many times it's kind of something outside of us. And this goal that you want to achieve, it will guide our actions towards that defined endpoint, right? So I want to own a new house by the end of 2026, for example. Then, if that's the big goal, then you're going to take specific actions along the way in order to achieve that goal, that end point, which then, by definition, if you have achieved it, the goal is achieved. you celebrate, woohoo, and then you might go on to choose or create another goal in another area of your life and so on. And so again, regular goal setting, I'm sure you've all done it. Many of you have probably heard of SMART goals, which we'll be looking at in a moment as well. So that's the definition of goal. And so here's an example. If you're working in business, it might be to increase client retention by 15% in the next quarter. Now, those of you who know SMART goals, you know that's not really a SMART goal, yet many people write goals like that. And for now, that's okay. Or it could be that you want to get promoted. It could be that you achieve a certain body weight. It could be that, yeah, you get a new house, a new car, you go on a family holiday, you want to attend some kind of training or get some kind of credential or certificate. These can all be goals that you want to achieve, right? So I think that's pretty clear. Now, here's where intention gets a little bit different. Intention is your inner purpose, also linked to your mindset or your quality of being that you commit to bringing into your actions, right? So it's present focused as if it's happening right now. Often it's a very, very internal process. It has nothing really to do with the outside world because it's the quality of your way of being. And this is where it gets interesting because you can have this quality, this way of being, as you're taking actions towards achieving your goal. So, as you see here, your inner purpose, your purpose is why you do what you do, right? And those of you who are coaches already or have done goal setting in the past or been working with clients, we know when you can elicit the purpose or the reason why your client wants to achieve their goal, then it's going to create greater internal motivation. So you can absolutely apply these same principles within yourself, which is what we call intention. So your inner purpose or your inner why or reason together with the mindset, right? So an intention is a very holistic approach at your way of being on the way to achieving your goal. So you can still have your goal and you can have your action points throughout the achievement of that goal. In addition to that, your intention is your way of being on your way to achieving that goal. Now, the cool thing is with intentions is it's very personal, so it's up to you. You can choose it. And what I've found really, really fascinating in my own recent exploration of intentions is that I like to hold one intention per day, right? So early in the morning, often, usually my morning starts with either a breath work or a meditation or a kind of combination of the two, which is, as you can imagine, it's a very internal process. Normally, I've got the blindfold on, I've got the earbuds in, I'm listening to a guided meditation or breath work or some beautiful music or something. And sometimes I'm very clear. I know what my intention is going to be for the day before I go into the meditation. And in my experience, sometimes I just decide what that is. Sometimes it is more of a feeling or an intuition that I feel, and I thought, okay, and it feels like I'm holding this intention, so that every action I take through the day, I do my best to filter my actions through this intention. So the intention becomes kind of like a filter of my way of being throughout the day. So it's internal and it's value driven. So our values are simply what is most important to you. Now, values again are very, very personal. If you want to start a fight with someone, you can challenge their values and see how that works out. Our values are also unconscious. So by consciously setting an intention, You're bringing your values, the things that are important to you, you're bringing them to the surface. You're bringing your purpose to the surface, and you're consciously thinking about, how do I want to be during this day? How do I want to show up at the meeting today, at my coaching session today, at my training session today? How do I want to be with my partner today? So, a couple of very simple intentions might be: today, I have the intention of curiosity. Right? I'm just going to be curious. I'm not going to jump into any judgment. I'm going to probably listen more. I might ask some questions. I don't pretend to know everything, because someone who is curious doesn't walk around like King Kong thinking that they know everything. I might combine two intentions together. And what I'm finding in my practice so far is that one short, simple intention works the best for me. So I would invite you to experiment and see what works for you. These are quite similar: curious and openness. That's okay. You can combine them together. Or I can just be open. I can be open to the miracles and wonders of the world. I can be open to hear a different point of view that I might not necessarily be open to. I can be open to the flow of life. I can be open to surprises. I can be open to synchronicities and so on. And if we want to really simplify it, and this is my definition now, your intention is your way of being. So again, you can still have a goal. You can have actions towards that goal. And even in the middle of that action, you can choose to be a certain way in the world, right? For example, my intention for today might be kindness. That's going to be my intention for today. Then, as I go about my day, because I've consciously set that intention in the morning, and remember, our intention is often value and purpose driven. You're using your mindset, your consciousness, to bring it to the front of your mind here. And what I've found in my own practice is, as I do go through the day, if I have just one short, sharp, clear intention, it's much easier for me to remember. And it's much easier for me to then incorporate that intention as I go about my day. Okay, so far so good. And as always, if you have any questions, please do drop them into the chat box. That would be amazing. Right, let's take a look at some examples. And I want to talk about how they begin to fit together. So I could have a SMART goal where I want to increase client satisfaction from 82 to 90% by the 31st of March 2026. Those of you in the coaching space, you know that's a pretty good SMART goal. It's very, very clear. It's time bound. We'll assume that it's relevant and that it's important for the person setting the goal. So that's my goal. That's where I'm going. That's kind of like the North Star. That's what I want to achieve. And I could bring in some possible intentions, right? For example, I might choose to listen fully. Now, how does that relate to client satisfaction? Well, it might be listening to what the client has to say rather than just brushing them off and, okay, yeah, yeah, all right, okay, yeah, no worries, I'll send that over, and brushing it off. It might be that, no, today, as I work towards my goal for March next year, today, I'm going to do my best to listen fully. And again, experiment with it. What's working really, really nicely for me is to have one intention per one day. Not too many, because then you get confused. And I like to mix up the intentions a little bit. So on this day, it'll be something, but on the next day, it'll be something else, which again is some other value that's important to you, something linked to your purpose, and then something that's kind of linked to your goal. And what that does, it gives you a different lens in which to take your actions, right? So this is one possible intention. Be curious, not defensive, right? Now, again, you can see they're similar here, but I just want you to know in my practice, I wouldn't set all three of these for one day. I would just choose one per day. So I might say to myself, right, I remind myself of my goal. Okay, customer satisfaction, 90% March next year. All right, got it. How do I want to show up today? Right. Yeah, that's right. I know I have a meeting with that customer who's already been complaining about something and blah, 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 blah. So I'm not going to get defensive and I'm just going to be curious. I'm going to be curious and I'm not going to be defensive at that meeting that I have with that challenging client later today because the client is part of your client satisfaction. So what a beautiful intention to bring into that meeting, for example. Or I might say, today I'm going to be of service, right? I'm not trying to sell. I'm not trying to push. I'm not trying to take more of our product. No, today I'm going to be of service. I'm going to give even more value than I normally give. I'm going to share some tips and tricks or whatever. I'm just here to be of service. My intention is not to sell, right? So there are a couple of examples there. Increase team productivity by 20%. Now, again, those of you who know SMART goals, you know that you'd probably choose a specific metric there, whether it was, widgets per hour or widgets per day or whatever it is that you're focusing on. Now, who can tell me in the chat box here? I don't want to do all the work today. Who can tell me if this was your goal to increase team productivity by X widgets by February next year? What is a possible intention? Remember, your intention is your way of being. It's how you show up in the world as you take your actions towards the achievement of that goal. And we can assume that with this nice goal here, you've probably already worked out some kind of action plan or whatever. So who can tell me in the chat box, please, what is one or two intentions that you could bring, if this were your goal, that you could bring into your team and or to increase productivity by 20%? Does anyone want to have a crack in the chat box, please? Anyone? Any intention at all for this particular goal? Don't be shy. What could be an intention? Thank you, SWJ in the house. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, I could choose active listening. Beautiful. What's another possible intention that we could bring into this goal here, guys? And there's no right or wrong here. We're just kind of experimenting with this new-ish concept called intentions. Go ahead and feel free to write your responses in the chat. I could choose to lead with trust, right? So you can see here when they get a little bit longer, and again, this is a personal preference. I want you to play around with it. I like these really short, sharp intentions. For example, kindness, acceptance, courage, right? These are the kind of the one word intentions that I probably prefer the most. And it's a very, very personal process. So please do explore that. With here, I might just say trust, right? I'm going to trust my team. I'm going to similar to what SWJ shared, like I'm going to listen actively. I'm going to trust the ideas from my team. I'm going to trust my team to lead with that initiative. I'm going to trust that that project can be handled by that person. Trust, trust, trust. So all of my actions throughout the day are filtered through this intention called trust. Oh, another one nice there by Mukai. Apologies for my pronunciation. Yeah, flexibility and openness. Wow, what a beautiful intention to bring into the team setting, right? Clarity. Right now, it could be two here, and again, that's why I don't like them when they get a little bit too long. And I wanted to give you a few examples just so you could see the difference and how do they feel to you, right? When I'm practicing with my intentions, as I said, sometimes I'll set it in the early morning before I do my breath work or meditation. Sometimes I don't know yet. And so I'm really into breath work at the moment. I'm doing breath work most days now and meditation on the other days, but breath work like 95% of the time. Sometimes the intention will come to me for the day, it'll come to me in the breath work. And sometimes that's a clue from the guided breath work that I'm listening to. Sometimes it's like an emotion that comes up. Gratitude is another intention, appreciation is another intention. And so after then I've come out of the meditation, I come straight to my little journal. I've got a little journal here on my table, and then I'll write down my intention for today is boom. And then I do my best to remind myself about the intention. And what seems to happen is I build up a little bit of momentum then throughout the day. And then as I'm dealing with my wife, not dealing, as I'm conversing lovingly with my wife, then I remind myself of that intention with her, or a meeting with my team, or a meeting with a client, or a meeting with a potential client, or whatever I'm doing, I will do my best to remind myself of that intention. So the intention here could be focus on clarity, or it might just be focus. Today I'm going to be focused, or today I'm going to be clear. I'm going to bring clarity to everything that I do. It might be celebration, right? It might be, okay, team. Tools down. I'm taking you all out for lunch. Let's celebrate our success so far this month. We're on track. We're doing great. Let me buy you lunch, for example. Or I might say that, look, today it's all about process, right? So as we go through this, and I want to increase the productivity, I'm going to look at the process, the process, the process. What can I do to improve this process throughout the day? And because this intention is like a lens or like a filter, you'll be surprised because your conscious awareness now is looking for ways that you can improve the process and improve the process and improve the process. You might call a meeting and say, okay, team, what are some of the processes that are slowing us down and what could we do to reinvent them, change them, or tweak them? And here's another goal, complete the executive coaching certification by December the 15th. That's the goal. The intentions could be, again, curiosity, right? And everyone who's studied here with coachology, you know that to be a great coach, you need to be a great coachee. So to be really curious and put yourself into the coachee seat and maybe find a colleague or a peer to coach you will, believe it or not, help you to be a better coach in order that you can get fully certified by the 15th of December. It might be humility, right? Today, in all of my coaching conversations, I'm going to be humble. I'm just going to be the most humble, most centered, most, authentic person that I can be, or I might choose to be of service. Cool? So let me know if there's any questions, just drop them into the chat box. So aligning your intentions with your goals. Focus on the way of being, not the outcome, right? So this is how we can take our goal, which again is usually pretty straightforward, pretty easy to understand. What is my way of being in order to not to as a direct path to get there, but as a way of being as I take the actions that I want to take. So here are some questions that you can ask to help you align your intentions with the goal that you probably already have. So you can ask yourself, who do I need to be while pursuing this goal? Right? How do I need to show up? Right? My intention today might be integrity. So no matter what, I'm bringing integrity to the table today. I'm not looking at shortcuts. I'm not looking to zig and to zag. I'm just bringing my integrity. Choose intentions that describe your attitude, your energy, or your mindset, like calm. Today, my intention is calm. And this is good if you know that you have a short temper, that you get plugged in, that people push your buttons. If you know that that's part of your normal behavior, then having an intention of being calm will help you to get focused and it'll bring you back into the present moment. This is another benefit of setting these daily intentions. It helps to bring you back into the present moment because your consciousness is being filtered through it. So today I'm going to be calm or curious, which we've already spoken about, or courageous. Maybe you know that to achieve your goal, you need to get out of your comfort zone. So, you know what? Today, in all these actions that I take, I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to be courageous. As you focus on this intention and remind yourself however you need to remind yourself, then what will happen throughout your day? You'll be taking some action. You'll get up to the edge of your comfort zone and you'll think, oh, hang on, Luke. Today, my intention was to be courageous, and you'll take a bold step, a courageous step outside of your comfort zone rather than your usual self or focusing on just the result because it brings you back to the actions that you're taking today. And the way that you show up day by day, it will shorten the amount of time that it takes you to achieve your goal. Anchor your intentions in your core values. So remember, our values are what is most important to us. So as you connect your intentions with your values, which are very, very unconscious, yet our values are like a compass. Our values determine the direction in our life. And whether you're aware of it or not, your values are determining your actions every minute of every day. So when you bring the conscious awareness of an intention, which is linked to your values, you're bringing what is unconscious into the conscious mind. So now you're taking more conscious action throughout your day. So the question you can ask yourself is, what matters most to me in how I achieve this? For example, you want $1 million? Awesome. Well, do you want to be greedy? Do you want to be manipulative? Do you want to take advantage of other people? Or do you want $1 million and do you want to be appreciative? Do you want to be giving? Do you want to be trusting in that process of achieving $1 million? I know which one that I would prefer. And so as you link your intentions with your values, you're using more of your resources, your brain, your neurons, your values, your beliefs, and everything. And now you are more aligned to the achievement of your goal. When your intention reflects a personal value, such as integrity or growth or compassion, it keeps your actions grounded and authentic even under pressure, right? So when that little bright shiny object is over here, well, if that little bright shiny object, that distraction, if it's not aligned with your values and your intentions, then it won't distract you anymore. So aligning your intentions together with your goals is a really, really good way to keep yourself focused, to keep your eyes on the prize. Keep it simple, keep it memorable and felt, right? As in like a feeling or an emotion. The best intentions are short, emotional cues, like a reminder that you can recall in the moment, like stay open or lead with trust or listen fully. Or today, my intention is presence, right? Today, my intention is presence, for example. If it feels true in your body, not just in your head, then it will guide your presence and your actions naturally, right? So short, sharp, and direct. If you can link it to an emotion as well, then the emotion is part of your subconscious mind. So now you've got more of the whole system driving you forward with that clear goal and those daily intentions. You will literally be pulled towards the achievement of your goal. So far, so good. Any questions? Please drop them into the chat box. We're unpacking this together. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about goals. Most of you probably do know about SMART goals, but just in case you haven't, or for people watching the replay here, and this is the evolution of the SMART goal. So, SMART goals have always been specific. And I'd like you to make your SMART goals simple. Now, by simple, I don't mean easy to achieve. I mean the goal statement itself. I want it to be short, sharp, and clear. Many leaders, many organizations, they write these long, complicated goal statements where no one really understands it except the big boss. So keep it simple. M is measurable. So, how do you know if you've achieved your goal? And this is where intention starts to come in. So, you want your goal to be meaningful to you. You want it to be important to you. So, if you can link your values to your goals, then awesome. And you also want to attach like an emotion towards your goal. And this is on the SMART goal itself. Now later on, when we bring the intention in as well, then the intention is also meaningful, which is more emotion. Now you're bringing in purpose as well. So you got purpose, value, and emotion all wrapped up around in the meaningfulness of your goal. So you'll be driven towards the achievement of your goal. You could almost say that you're being pulled towards the achievement of your goal because now you've engaged your subconscious mind. It's not just a conscious do. There's a lot more going on. Achievable and agreed. In this context here for your intention, you want your conscious mind and your subconscious mind to be in agreement, to be in alignment towards the achievement of your goal. Consciously, we can want this goal, but unconsciously or subconsciously, same, you're over here because your values are here, your purpose is here, and if somehow your intentions are over here, then consciously doesn't matter what you want, your unconscious mind is going to go this way. So you need your conscious and your subconscious mind to be in agreement, to be in alignment in order to achieve more of your goals more quickly. Relevant, again, is it important to you and is it realistic? And then finally, timely and towards our outcome. So, very importantly in goal setting, we don't focus on what we don't want, which is a normal trap. We must focus on what we do want. A quick way to know if your SMART goal is correct, I want you to think about it like Google Maps. You know, when you're driving somewhere that you don't know, and if you don't know, like me, then I will use my Google Maps. And Google Maps, you have to be very specific in that final destination. Otherwise, you'll get lost, right? If I'm going to Marriott Hotel in Bangkok, well, last I checked, there's about 4 different Marriott hotels in Bangkok. So you better be sure I put the specific Marriott hotel in Bangkok or else I'll get lost. Well, guess what? Your goals are exactly the same. If they are not specific, you'll get lost and you'll end up somewhere else. So we must be moving towards what we want to achieve. Can you see the final destination in the goal statement? So let's take a look here. 2 million USD. Here's a couple of examples, and we'll do these pretty quickly. Go ahead and you can use the chat box if you want. I'll give you a clue. All these examples that I'm flashing up now are not SMART goals. Most people, when writing their goals, they do write them something like this, that as a company, 2 million USD by the end of the second quarter. Now, who can tell me, nice and quick, why is this not a SMART goal? What's missing here? And I'll give you a clue for this first one. The second quarter, even though it's kind of the date, it's not specific enough. Your subconscious mind doesn't really understand what the second quarter means, and you'll be surprised. Most of your junior staff, they don't know what the second quarter is either. They're going to count it out like this. January, February, March, it's one quarter. April, May, June. How many days does June have? Is it 28? No, is it 31? Oh, no, no, that's right. Yeah, it's 30 days. No, no. So always when you're writing your SMART goals, just make sure you're super specific because also here, what year is this 2026, 2027, 2028? Like, it's not specific enough. So this will not engage the conscious mind. And I get it. The big boss probably knows what this means, but your subconscious mind does not get it, and your junior staff do not get it. The other thing that's not clear here, are we talking sales or revenue or profit or some other kind of metric? It's not clear here. So a correctly structured SMART goal would be something like we achieve 2 million USD profit by the 30th of June 2026. This follows the correct definition of a SMART goal that we just said a moment ago. So let me pull up these examples and then you can take a screenshot then if you would like to, or you can simply write these down. I want to lose 5 kilogram by December. SMART goal, yes or no? I know that you know that the answer is no. That's not a SMART goal. When we talk about losing 5 kilo, it's like moving away from what we don't want. I don't want to be fat. I want to lose 5 kilo. I want to lose 10 kilo. I want to lose 20 kilo. Look, no judgment there, except that you cannot see the final destination with this goal statement. Number one, what date, what year? I want to lose 5 kilogram by the 1st of December 2030. Yeah. So instead, now I am 80 kilogram by the 15th of December 2025. Now, there's a few little additions here that I want to explain quickly. I want you to notice that the goal statement is written as present tense, as if it's happening right now. Now I am. And this is important because this is how the subconscious mind works, right? The subconscious mind is like a 4-year-old child. It responds best to direct instruction and because the subconscious mind doesn't know past, future, good or bad, right or wrong, it only knows what you tell it with repetition. So, with this evolution of the SMART goal, writing it like this as present tense, you are engaging that subconscious part of your mind, which is going to help to integrate the conscious and the subconscious mind. The specific date here, right? I can hear you. Some of you are thinking, Luke, you've got it present tense and by the 15th of December. It's because we're using the language and the structure here that communicates both to the conscious mind, 15th of December, and the subconscious mind, now I am. Is it okay if you achieve your goal before the 15th of December? Of course it is. So with the goal like that, what you're really saying is any time between now and the 15th of December, I am 80 kilo. I am 80 kilo. And so now your subconscious mind begins to scan the environment looking for ways that you can achieve that goal. Now, let's take this a little bit deeper now. If this was your goal, right? Now I am 80 kilogram by the 15th of December. And let's say you woke up this morning and then you look at your vision board or you look at your diary, you've read your goal and you think, yeah, what could be your intention for today if this was your goal? Tell me in the chat box, please. What could be an intention, which remember, that's how you show up in the world today. It is your way of being today. What could be an example of that, please? Kindly drop it into the chat box. What could be your intention if this was your goal that you're working towards? Oh, motivated. Yeah, I like it. Right? Because here's the thing. Let's play with this one a little bit. Okay, today my intention is motivated. I don't want to go to the gym. But now you've set your intention. I am motivated. I am motivated. I am motivated. And then so hopefully your intention will drive your actions beyond what is comfortable or what is uncomfortable. What could be another example, please? What could be another intention based on that goal? Any suggestions? Just imagine for a moment this is your goal and you say to yourself, how am I going to turn up today? How do I want to show up in the world? What is my way of being today? Oh, nice one, Yick. Yes. Determined, committed. It might be a more generic one like healthy. I'm just going to be healthy today. So you walk away from the ice cream buffet. You walk away from the bubble tea or whatever other stuff is unhealthy, right? And so these intentions, they're so powerful, like that they feel so subtle. And I promise you, as you begin to play with them, you'll notice the change in your behavior. You'll notice the difference in the way that you take actions, right? So they perfectly, beautifully complement the actions that you're taking on a day by day basis. Perfect. So we'll come back to the SMART goals. Increase customer satisfaction. Now, customer satisfaction is 95%, right? So that's the SMART goal. Remember, the boss comes to you, increase customer satisfaction. Yet from what? Right? There's no starting point, but more importantly, there's no final destination. What is the end point? That's the end point there. And then get promoted by the end of 2025. Well, what date and promoted to what? So now I am sales director. Now, just quickly, what could be another intention that could link to this goal? Now I am sales director. What could be a intention that you set for that one particular day as you work towards your goal of becoming a sales director? Please drop it into the chat box. What could be a good way of being, a good way of feeling, a good way of behaving? How do you want to show up in the world? It could be something like, I am professional. I'm professional. Sales directors are usually pretty professional. They're dressed up nice. Any other suggestions? Drop it in there. I am abundant. Again, I am determined. Oh, no, hang on, that was the other one. I am making a name for myself. Nice. I am energized. I am approachable. You guys are getting the point. Awesomely awesome. Thank you for sharing. Now, here is the three-step process. So we've looked at the importance of linking an intention with your SMART goal. We've done a quick recap on why, first of all, what is a SMART goal? And we looked at some examples there because if you've got your SMART goal and you've got your intention and they are going to be aligned, you're much more likely to achieve that goal. If the goal is not quite smart, if you're choosing some kind of generic intention that isn't really linked to the goal, eh, and that's not to say that that's a bad thing. You could have three big goals that you're working on and you might have an intention for this goal today, and then that's your focus. Perfect. Then on the next day, you focus on your relationship goal. And so then you decide that today my intention is to be present. I'm just going to be present with my partner. I'm going to leave the phone in the other room. I'm going to avoid any distractions and I'm just going to be present. And so that's okay, right? So here's the three-step approach to stay aligned, to stay motivated, and to stay focused, right? Because remember, you've set your SMART goal, you've set your intention. What happens as we move through our day? Reconnect to your why. So, your why is your purpose. Your why is your reason why you want to achieve that goal. Regularly remind yourself why this goal matters. Link it to your deeper purpose or your values. So when you know what your why is, your reason and your purpose, it will motivate you. So why do you want to be sales director? Well, because I get more money. My salary goes up. Okay, great. That's a good goal. Why is achieving more money important for you? Well, if I achieve more money, I can put my kids through a good private school. Oh, okay. So now, as you begin to make your why bigger, you're going to get more motivated. And when you start tapping into that bigger purpose or that bigger why, your intention will automatically begin to align with that. So now it's like you 2x the whole reason or the purpose or why you want to achieve what you want to achieve. Maybe another reason, another big why is you might want to retire your parents, right? Maybe they're almost retired, but they still owe, a few $1,000s, $20,000 on their little house or whatever. So you might decide to pay out their loan so that they don't have to worry about finances anymore. Wow. When I think about that, yeah, now I'm going to be motivated, right? And the motivation is going to come from places I didn't even know I had within me. So reconnect to your why. You could ask, what impact will achieving this goal have on me, or will it have on others, such as my family, such as my parents? If you are in the service industry, you might begin to think, how might this positively affect my clients or the people that I'm working with on a regular basis? I know for me, one of my whys is I want to have massive positive impact in the lives of others. When I attended my first personal development workshop 20 plus years ago, it was an NLP workshop, neuro linguistic programming. And when I decided to become a coach and a trainer, I remembered that event that I had attended 20 years previously. And I thought, that's the most alive that I've ever felt in my whole body, where every neuron was alive. I want to have that positive impact with others. And I remember in that moment, it was like, oh, and then I just decided I wanted to be in a coach and a trainer. And that was my why, right? I want to help people feel like I felt at the end of that workshop. When the why is clear, then the how we do it becomes much easier. So remember, the why, it's linked both to your goal and into your intention. When you remind yourself of the why, you're bringing them both together. And so, for example, in that little story that I just shared with you now, my intention for today might be contribution. Today, I want to contribute, right? And in a certain way, running a free webinar like this is a form of contribution. And that's okay. I love it because it is linked to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's take a look at another example. Another way to stay aligned, motivated, and focused is to set mini checkpoints. So break big goals, right? That big goal that you've got, break it down into small, achievable steps and celebrate your progress often as is motivating for you. Reflect on what's working and what needs adjustment. Momentum builds motivation. So when I started practicing with these daily intentions for myself, I was actually using my little app, the NeuroShift app. I was using it to keep me focused, to help me to build the momentum. And again, the favorite part of using the app was setting my little daily intention. And then I would like, what's my intention today? And I'd really sit with it for a few minutes and think about, okay, so what's my focus area? What's the bigger focus area for today? Okay, let's break that down into steps that I'm doing today. What's the number one action I need to take today towards that bigger goal? Okay, yep, all right, yep, I've got to do that. I look at my calendar. All right, how do I want to show up today? to achieve those two or three things in my calendar today, those two or three things that are most important today, what intention, just for today, are most aligned with those items that I already have in my calendar? And that was one of the decision-making processes that I went through to help me to choose my intention. And, and then it became more automated. It became more automatic because I'd built up that momentum. And then here's our wonderful friend, ground in daily meditation again. Daily intention. Start each day by choosing how you want to show up. Now, don't get too hung up on, "Oh, okay, I'm awake. I've gone to the bathroom. What's my intention?" What I've found in my own practice is, do your thing in the morning. If you do a little bit of exercise, do that. If you do a bit of meditation or breath work, do that. If you make yourself some kind of smoothie or shake or a coffee, do that. And then just be curious as to what, check your calendar, okay? And then just let it kind of evolve, right? And then you should be able to get it within that 10 or 15 minutes, right? If you can't tap into the intuitive or the feeling part of yourself, just decide. Say, okay, as I look at my calendar today, what would be a good intention for that? And then just decide. Or randomly open a dictionary. Or, hey, ChatGPT, what's a good intention for me to have today? And then choose that, right? One phrase or quality, such as today I'm going to be calm, today I'm going to be curious, today I'm going to act boldly and courageously. Use it as a quick mental reset as you're feeling distracted or stressed throughout the day. Remind yourself if you're using some kind of app, if you've written your intention down, if you've written a post-it note, remind yourself, just keep coming back to your intention. Because here's the thing, if your intention was to be calm and you're finding yourself getting angry, then you need that reminder to keep, oh, that's right, be calm, Luke, be calm. Oh, I've got that email. Oh, but there's the post-it note that says, be calm, Luke, be calm. Okay, so your presence will fuel your performance. And then just to wrap up, techniques to overcome distraction, overwhelm, or frustration. So you want to change your distraction to re-center with micro pauses, right? These are pretty simple, guys. So just practice and see what works for you. You've heard me say the quote before, right? Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Well, for most of us, that space does not exist. So you'll need to consciously create the space. And maybe that's your intention for today. Create space. Today, I'm going to create space between stimulus and response. So whenever you are, whatever you're doing, take a time out, pause for 30 seconds, and take 3 slow, conscious breaths, which just really looks like this. A little bit deeper than normal. And if you can do it, let your breath out as a sigh of relief, bonus points, right? You're actually re-regulating your nervous system. You're bringing your nervous system from survival mode back down to homeostasis. So now you can't really do that in the middle of the meeting. I mean, you can. There's ways you can do it without doing it out loud. But do that between meetings, right? As you're walking down the hallway or getting your tea or coffee or going to the fridge or going to the bathroom or moving from one room to the other. But a little bit deeper than normal. That's important. If it's really stressful, make it even louder. And then you're ready for the next meeting. Surprise, surprise. So it interrupts the mental noise. It is what we call a pattern interrupt in NLP. It calms your nervous systems, brings you out of fight, or freeze, and it restores your focus back to the present moment. Super, super easy, super, super simple. To move from overwhelm, we want to simplify and prioritize. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, right? When you're feeling there's too much going on, again, Use this 30 seconds here and just get yourself a piece of paper and then get everything that's out of your mind. Sometimes this can happen in the morning when you wake up and you're feeling overwhelmed because you're thinking of all the things you have to do today, tomorrow, the day after. Often, if you can focus on three things throughout your day, that's going to be enough to not only make progress, but to actually reduce your overwhelm. So I call it the top three to succeed. So you can make a list. I want you to vent. I want you to dump. I want you to get it out of your head. Whatever's in your head, whether that's email to Frank or complete that survey or do that thing or pay for the flight, like everything that's on your head, just dump it. That should take 2 or 3 minutes. Then just circle the top three. The top three that are going to move the needle the most in your day. Think of them as the must haves that I must get complete within today. Now, of course, distractions and fires will pop up. You'll have to take care of this or take care of that. When you've taken care of those urgent things, come back to your list, look at that top three, refocus. What's my intention today? That's right, it was to be calm. Okay, and then you get back on with your list. It declutters your thinking and replaces anxiety with clarity and choice. Anxiety happens is when we're focusing on the things that we don't want to happen. Often that is, I'll never get all of this complete. I'll never get all of this complete. Now comes your old friend anxiety. So by getting it out of your head and putting it on the paper, you'll reduce your anxiety. And then the final tip is to shift from frustration. You need to shift your state, not your strategy. So if you already have a game plan, you already have your action plan, you already know what you're going to do today, don't change the strategy, right? You thought about that, hopefully, when you were calm and you were conscious and when you were centered. When frustration and other emotions pop up, you want to change your emotional state, not the strategy. Why? Because if you try to come up with a different strategy while you're frustrated, stressed, and angry, it's more reactive and it's probably not the best. So, whoopsie. So when you feel stuck or irritated, change your physical state. Stand up, take a stretch, go for a walk, talk to a friend, play with the cat, play with the dog, throw the ball. Do what you need to do by simply moving your body, play with your kids, right? Then when you change your physical state, you change your emotional and your mental state. So this is what we mean by shifting your state. Then reapproach that situation with curiosity instead of trying to control, which is coming from that stress response. So movement resets emotion. Curiosity reopens perspective. Often stress comes up when we're hyper focused, but we're focused on the wrong things. We're focused on what might go wrong. And then now comes the anxiety and the stress even more. Wow, the quickest hour of the week. If you have any questions, now's a good time to drop them into the chat box. Now, this is the app that I wanted to talk about. So, I love technology and technology loves me. Over the last month or so, I built a little app called NeuroShift. And in this NeuroShift app, it's basically a habit tracking app, but it's so much more. You get to choose a couple of habits that you're going to focus on today. What is a habit? A habit is a behavior. What is a behavior? A behavior is a specific action. When you take specific actions over a few days, they end up becoming behaviors. And if you keep doing those same actions and so behaviors, they become a habit. A habit is an unconscious program. In this neuroscience based app, you can choose one big, juicy goal that you want to work on. You can set three behaviors and habits that you want to develop. You can set a daily intention, which is what I mentioned before. And for me, you can manually type it in, or if you need inspiration, or if you're stuck, you press need inspiration, and then AI will automatically pop one up for you. You can set reminders for yourself to take those actions. You can set reminders to go back into the app and score your effort throughout the day. So for each of those three actions, you score your effort that you put in, right? Was it a 7 out of 10? Was it a 10 out of 10? Was it a 1 out of 10? And then as you do that over time, then there are analytics where you can track your progress. And there's also some other gamification in there. There's options to upgrade for free, to unlimited habits, to access an AI coach, and so much more. So you can take a picture of that, or you can scan it and you can download it for free. In addition to that, you might want to come and learn about coaching. So we have two options for coaching. Again, goal setting is a primary skill that you need as an awesome coach. I'm definitely going to bring this intention process into the goal setting for our coaches. You can join us in 8 and 9 of November in KL. This is 100% claimable by HRD. If you are based in Malaysia, 100% claimable. Or you can join us in Bangkok. And of course, there's a special investment for my webinar friends. There it is there. And then finally, NLP, neuro linguistic programming, one of the best ways to reprogram this. You can identify your values, become conscious of them. You can identify the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back from your goals and install empowering beliefs. The NLP is awesome. You're going to develop greater awareness, mental health, communication, EQ. My goodness, so many tools on EQ, your personal growth, your professional growth, improved relationships. Early bird investment, only 50,000 baht. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very, very much. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you have not so far. And let me quickly check. Did we have any questions about anything? No, I don't think we had any questions. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to the familiar faces. Yik, Inda, Kelvin, SWJ, Raphael. Nice to see you again, and a few newbies as well. Until next time, we have another topic next Wednesday. I can't remember what it is. Coach Christie will be leading it. Keep an eye open in your inbox tomorrow. There will be details on the next free webinar on Webinar Wednesday. Until then, stay cool, stay awesome, everyone. Ciao, ciao. Thank you.